This is going to be your 2019 reading. There will be a full moon on October 13th. And I did mention in some of the other videos some other astrological events that will be coming up for you this month. Also this month, I'm going to be focusing more on a guidance reading rather than exes or business or things like that. So just be aware this is more of a way to get you through this period in a way that is beneficial to you. Alright, so Aquarius, right away, some emotional struggle coming up for you. And you may be trying to tie your energy into your strength, and you may be trying to think of a way to split your focus between putting out the vibration to other people that you are maybe not struggling as much as you feel internally. Maybe just plowing through your days in a really even aggressive sort of way to get to the end so you can hurry up and get home and just relax and try to heal or just give the energy that you need to this sort of emotional exhaustion that's going on. I'm also picking up some Taurus energy if that's relevant to you. For those of you who have families, you may be really trying to keep it together for your children. If you are a young person, you may be just coming home, wanting to get into your room, wanting to have your own space, wanting to try to reach out to your friends and just connect with them. But you may not be telling the whole story about what's happening. Death card coming up. But again, that feeling of really isolating and not feeling like these are things you want to discuss with people. You may even be comparing your life to others and really wondering how you can sort of make people believe that you are doing well. You're just really not feeling like you are at your best right now. So how do we move you through this time? That's the question. Again, the Chariot coming up. This is a lot of going fast and getting nowhere, depending on what other cards are surrounding it. And I think that's exactly what's happening with you right now, Aquarius. You seem to be moving quickly through the world, but not feeling internally like you're getting anywhere. You may be moving quickly through your days, just trying to get them over with as quickly as possible, where you can just get back to yourself at the end of the day, sort of isolate, and then your head is going a million miles an hour, and you put your head on the pillow at night, your mind is racing, but you don't feel like you're getting much accomplished. This could be about money, this could be about career, this could be about, again, if you're a young person and you're training for something, you could be wondering, I'm in college, is college really worth it? I'm spending all of this money. Is a college education really worth it anymore? If you're older and you're changing careers, you could be thinking, I'm kind of treading water where I am, but I've been doing this job for a really long time. You know, what am I doing here? Sometime in October. I just want to make sure you guys can see this. We have the Tower coming up. We have the Devil coming up. We have a lot of swords. You have a moment of clarity. It's not necessarily negative, but something occurs somewhere in October, possibly November, where you are pushed into confronting these fears. If you're trying to keep them in the back of your mind, something pushes you into a situation where you have to confront that. It may be that you are sitting somewhere, maybe you're having a few drinks and you're sort of in a bar with a lot of people and you're looking around and you're just so disconnected that you're like, I can't, ignore this anymore. It may be that you connect with someone physically and right in the middle of it, this problem pops into your mind and you are so disconnected from the person. There's just a disconnect that comes up as you are trying to engage in things that maybe typically would make you feel better. And you can't even use these things to distract yourself anymore. They just are not working. There's no way to put this mask back on anymore. You are having this internal argument with yourself, and there's just no way to distract yourself from it anymore. So a couple of cards popped out as I went into this next deck. Let's just leave them there before I shuffle. There's just no way to keep putting the blindfold back on yourself. And it's not that you're doing that because it's a bad thing. You just may feel overwhelmed right now, and you're just doing your best to give yourself a break. Sometimes in life we don't have the emotional energy to deal with something, so we need that. We need to just take a break. But sometime, either in October or November, something breaks through, and you just, the universe may know that you're ready before you do, and you just get pushed into something a little bit extra, where you have to face this thing. The coping mechanisms that you may be using just are not working anymore. I see a lot of back and forth. There's a lot of conflict here internally, Aquarius, a lot of conflict. You do have a little bit of success in the upcoming month going inward and trying to get some clarity about what's happening, but again, you really do not want to discuss it with friends or family. You are really, there were some things like that going on in the readings during the summer with people. They really were struggling internally and just did not want to discuss it with people. The Star coming up. Some of this may be around a relationship or a relationship that's long gone. High Priestess, coming up, and the Emperor. This may be around if you're young and you have parents that are older and they are having some marital problems. There's something going on with the dynamic of relationships that is not attached to you in terms of a relationship. It may be connected to you, and it may affect the way you perceive relationships, but it is not so close to you. So this could be someone in your family and their relationship. It's something that you perceive to be very solid, a very solid relationship. Maybe they were married for 30 years, 40 years, and they may be separating right now, but that is affecting you very deeply because that may have been your vision of how marriage was, or that may have been keeping you grounded for there always being hope in the world. A lot of problems around communication with people around you coming up. Trust, about trusting and opening your heart up. And this judgment card coming up. So there's something coming up for you where you have passed judgment on a situation, a hard judgment. The Fool coming up again. It had come up in the reverse somewhere earlier in the reading. In this deck, it's a little bit different. When it had come up earlier, it was in the reverse. Oh, here it is, right here. It had come up in the reverse. And what was surrounding it, it was a little bit of a hesitation about going forward. So here, it's a little bit different. This is you having an entirely new idea about something, but it was because it was through watching something severe that you adopted a new idea. Temperance coming up. Yeah, you saw something recently, or will see something. The World coming up, where you either came full circle, you may have had an idea about something years ago, and you thought you had matured. Maybe you thought it was a negative idea, and you said, I've had so much experience in the world, this is great, I have a positive outlook. And then maybe you saw something in the world that put you right back into that idea where you said, no, you know what, there is no hope for marriage, there is nothing, all the things that I saw in the meantime that made me change my mind, I'm washing it away and going back to square one. You know, Aquarius, it can be okay to change your ideas many times over the course of a lifetime about things. You know, ideas are that way. They move and they change. So, you know, I would say for you this month, if your ideas are changing about things, I wouldn't judge yourself so harshly about that. Yeah, this is about really cutting some things off. Strength coming up in the reverse. And I think, you're struggling, you're feeling a sort of guilt within yourself about being set back like this. And I don't think that's necessary. There's a card here, the Balance and the Sword. I mean, this, which talks about what I was talking about just prior. Ideas change, Aquarius, and I don't think you need to judge yourself so harshly for coming back to the beginning of your ideas like that. If it's a full circle sort of a thing, to you that may feel like you're going backwards. But life is full of cycles that way. And next year or next month, you may come to something else, and you may change your mind all over again, or it may be the beginning of a new cycle where you may change your mind. Again. This Lion card coming up, this again is that theme of strength. We have the Hourglass coming up. This is about patience. This is about time. This is about spirituality. Again, all within this theme of giving yourself time on your own journey. The Ring talks about continuity. I would say that's still within that theme of letting cycles complete themselves. Things are just not always so cut and dry. They're not always black and white. And that's what a cycle is. It has a beginning point, it goes around, and it has an end point. And like a circle, it can be, continuous. A tornado. It's fast moving, creates a new path, new beginnings. But you have to think about what a tornado is. I mean, it rips everything up in its path. And that's, I think, where you are right now. You're feeling the destructive portion of your cycle. But when everything is all over, you rebuild. You rebuild. We have the Tent and we have the Tower. The Tent talks about adventure. The Tower in this deck can talk about isolation, but can also talk about security. So I think in the long term, the security is what you will rebuild. In the short term, it's the isolation you feel now. So Aquarius, I think for you, what we're looking at now in October and November is you feeling a sense of that isolation, which I talked about earlier in the reading, as you just don't really want to discuss your feelings with everyone right now. In the long term, I think what you have to look forward to is the rebuilding. You may not be ready for it now, and that's fine, but it will come. We have the Peacock. That's success. And we have the Mushroom. That's really feeling very small. I think there's just not a feeling for you right now of loving this portion of your journey. And it might not be your whole journey. It may just be one aspect of it. It may just be school. It may just be business. It may just be a relationship. You really know where it applies, but that's what you have to think about right now. And it is fine to not discuss it all with people right away. We have no choose a new direction and in the near future. Again, I think this is just what we've been talking about. It's not necessary for you to go and discuss everything. I think it's fine for you to stop right where you are, pivot, And in the near future, this will all come together. You know, I think you're aware that something isn't right at this point in time. And sometimes just stopping and waiting for things to line up until you can see them is perfectly fine. So Aquarius, thank you for sitting with me. If this resonated with you, you can leave a comment, you can hit like. If you'd like to see more readings, you can hit subscribe. I always like sitting with everyone and hearing their journeys. If you'd like to leave a comment, let me know how you're doing. I'd love to see that. And as always, Aquarius, take care, and we'll talk to you soon.